Welcome back to WTAP Football Frenzy. We take a quick trip across the bridge to the land of the Golden Eagles. Belpre taking on Lancaster Fisher Catholic.
Let's do it. It's another Week 1 rematch from last year with Fisher Catholic and Belpre. The Irish took last year's meeting in a 47-12 rout, with the Golden Eagles looking to keep things closer this time around. Both defenses stood out to begin the game. Belpre going 3 and out on their first drive, and Fisher Catholic's first drive stalling out in their own end with the incomplete pass there. Both teams looking to grab the momentum, and Belpre opens up the scoring in a big way. Malik Curry drops back and buys some time on the pocket.
Throw?
Going to find a darting Gavin Henthron across the field and into the secondary with a man to beat, and he does just that. End zone 4-6, 7-0. Belpre goes up. Fisher Catholic then responds on the very next drive, a handoff to Jaden Ramsey Scott. And he finds the open hole and takes it the distance to tie things up at 7.
I think he waved goodbye.
Oh, yeah. The Irish defense held on strong, allowing them to get their offense back on the field. And then Sam Tenza bulldozing his way into the end zone, giving Fisher Catholic the lead. The Irish took this game by a final of 28-19.
We've had some good games so far. I like it. Let's go out to Meg, see if this one can hold up. Southern hosting South Gallia, picking it up in the first with the Rebels up 8-0. Dustin Moody lays a vicious stiff arm. Look at that.
Oh, man.
Dribbles him on a tornado defender, breaks tackles. Finally going to get shoved out of bounds. A 27-yard gain on the play, setting up another Rebels touchdown. They now lead 16-0. Southern's offense looking to punch back right here. Tornadoes running the reverse, weaving through multiple defenders, in and out, and they are able to take it 25 yards to the house.
Nice play call.
He gone. Yeah, Tornadoes. They're getting back into it. It's 16-6 now. Let's go to the second quarter. Rebels in the T position. Caleb Frazee on the handoff, looking to extend the Rebel lead, and no one will come close. He is untouched, 57 yards all the way to the end zone, rolling out the red carpet. The Rebels now lead at 24-6. What a play. Coaches, players, everybody fired up on that sidelines. You got to love it, Jermaine, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
A clutch INT here going to set up the Tornadoes in perfect field position. Southern on the comeback, beating 3 yards for a touchdown, and David Lee gets it done. Easy touchdown. Tornadoes able to make it a 10-point game at half. However, South Gallia in the end prevailed in a nail-biter 32-30 over Southern. Goodness.
Taking a look at some of the scores from other teams in the area. Waterford picked up the shutout victory over Vinton County 36-0 to start the year. The Athens Bulldogs went on the road to take on Logan, and they came out of there with a 49-21 win. A high-scoring game over there between Federal Hocking and Green, but the Bobcats pull out the 38-32 victory. And lastly, the Frontier Cougars started the season off with a big win over Bridgeport, 50-14.
I don't want to speak too soon, but this is one of the better week ones in recent memory, man. What a bunch of games, Off to a great start here. But coming up next on Football Frenzy, we've got your play of the night. Don't go anywhere.